Hey folks, Malforian here, and today we're going to be talking about the new Dynasty Legacies added to Crusader Kings 3 as part of the paid and free DLC with Legends of the Dead. Now these weren't covered in any of the dev diary coverage by Paradox, so I did want to make a quick video about them, just so you know kind of what bonuses they give and what I think about each one. So the first one we're going to talk about is Heroic Bloodline. This is all about legends, and the first one, Heroes of Old, gives you a legendary seed for free. You don't have to do any of the great deeds required to get a legend seed. So you don't have to win a holy war or something like that. You basically just get given one and then you can go about activating it on your character. The second part of this is kind of interesting. It is usable only once per dynasty, which makes sense. Otherwise, you could just spam this for like unlimited legends. But it can be used by any member. So there is a little bit of a risk reward to this. If you don't have the requirements, the gold and the prestige or the piety rank, depending on which ones they are, you could in theory activate this and then lose the legendary seed if somebody else in your dynasty was able to meet the requirements. So if you are a larger dynasty, it is something to keep in mind. Someone could in theory steal this off you immediately after you press this button if you're not careful. The second one is Mythical Ancestors grants access to the ancestral claim Casus Belli on any claims gained through a legitimizing legend. This is crazy powerful in some scenarios. You can have these legitimizing legends about kingdom titles and even empire titles, some of them talk about. If you were here for the live stream I did today, we were playing in Sweden. We had a little bit of land in England, but we actually got a legitimizing legend that talked about the Empire of Britannia, how we were going to be great and claim it for our dynasty. If we'd had this Dynasty Legacy perk, we would have got Casus Belli claims on the entirety of the Empire of Britannia, so we wouldn't have to be getting any claims anywhere. We wouldn't have to worry about any other kind of Casus Bellis. We could just do this. And the funny thing is, this actually works very much like the Invade Casus Belli. So if somebody owns half of Britain, you can just take it all off them in one war. It's really, really powerful. There's going to be some crazy campaigns, I would imagine, about people getting this when they're a count or a duke for a kingdom or empire title and just going absolutely nuts and taking over massive swathes of the map. Really, really interesting. I'm kind of surprised it's the second claim, although getting a legitimizing legend about a high-ranked title is pretty difficult. The one I got in the live stream today was a historical legendary seed, so it's already kind of built in that that's what you're going to get. So it's an interesting campaign if you are thinking of doing it. The third one here is Golden Legend, gains the Venerated Ancestor trait upon the completion of a mythical holy legend. So this gives you +2 piety a month and then +25 legitimacy gain. That is quite a lot of legitimacy gain. It is kind of funny that it's in the Heroic Bloodline, but it's actually more about legitimacy than many of the legitimacy ones are, which we'll get to later on. So really nice bonuses. And then we've got Legend Creation discount 15%, so the legends are a little bit cheaper to activate once you have them available. Living Legends gains the Living Legend trait upon the completion of a mythical heroic legend. And this gives you +2 prestige a month, and again, 25% legitimacy claim. So if you have both of these done on one character, you can have both of these traits and get 50% more legitimacy. Legend creation discount -25%. So again, stacks with this one. So that's what, 40% cheaper legends. And then if you're finishing these mythical ones, you know, get them all the way up to mythical and then complete them, you're then getting these trait bonuses as well for your character. So you can get a lot of legends. I'm not sure how spammy this will get. I've obviously not got this far yet, but I could see if you take over somebody early enough, you could be really stacking these legends crazily in some of your realms. And if you're unaware, legends do stack in the same county, so you can in theory have like 3 or 4 legends active in the same place. So you are going to get a lot of the bonuses stacking here. Now, one thing to counteract that is if you're not like promoting a legend, they do die off relatively quickly, so it is going to be difficult to stack a lot of them, but it can get a bit crazy how much you can get out of having all these. And that seems a lot easier if you have both of these unlocked. And the last one is Down in History. Domain taxes of the same faith, +5%. I mean, that's okay. It's nothing too crazy. Clergy Opinion +10. That almost feels just thrown in as a freebie. I mean, does that really matter that much? And then it unlocks access to the Legendary Watchtower building upon completing a legend, any kind of legend this gives you it. And this allows you to build an enormous towering monument that is not merely daunting in presence, but also highly defensible. And as you can see, the bonuses are very nice. Station Men-at-Arms toughness +5, and then Station Men-at-Arms toughness +20%. So kind of a weird like double stack of toughness there. +3 fort level, 200% garrison size, -25 danger if you're traveling. So if you have this on your capital, it's going to be a fortress. Like, it's going to be so difficult for somebody to take this off you. Just from the fort size and the garrison size being 200%, that's just going to make it so much harder for somebody to have an army big enough to actually start sieging down your holdings in an efficient way. And then this county gets +2,000 supply limit, +35% hostile raid time, which coupled with the fort size means raiding is going to be pretty difficult on this location. Holding taxes +10%, development growth plus 10%, and then the holder of this holding gets +1 men-at-arms regiments and +5 glory hound vassal opinion. This is really good, like really, really good. The toughness bonus is pretty nice, but the fact it makes this location a fortress that is pretty much not impenetrable, but pretty hard to get through, especially if you build up the fort that's on here as well. It's a really nice way to strengthen your capital in most cases and make it really hard to get into. And that is the Heroic Bloodline Dynasty Legacy. What do I think about it? I think it's pretty good. It does super lean into Legends, which it does say it does. I think these two coupled together could get crazy powerful. I wonder if they might get a nerf in the future. I'm not sure we need the +25 and the +15 creation discount. I think one of these would have been fine, and some different kind of bonus. These two are very similar, which kind of makes sense. You get both of them and you're like a golden legend and a living legend at the same time. It is going to be difficult to do that on one character, but if you do, you're going to be getting crazy bonuses, to be honest. And these early ones, again, are just really strong. This is probably one of the strongest Dynasty Legacies in the game, I think, especially if you are playing a lot of Legends, and I'm sure we all are at the moment, but very good, this first one. The second one, Legitimacy, I'll be honest, not quite as good, I don't think. So the first one is Rightful Rulers, Control Growth, 0.1 a month, Popular Opinion +5. I mean, not very good. It's okay, it's not horrendously bad, I don't think, but it's also not very good, especially compared to some of the other first tier ones that are in the game, especially Heroes of Old. Like, this is really good. Although I guess this is just a one-off bonus that you can only use once, whereas this one's going to be with you the entire game, so I guess it's got that going for it. The second one, Lasting Line, each heir starts with a Lasting Line modifier, boosting their legitimacy gain by 10% for the first 10 years in power. So this is going to help you rise through the legitimacy ranks early on, which will give you those bonuses for easier marriage, easier vassalization, easier alliances, and all that kind of stuff. So this one's not too bad. It's another stacking modifier on the early reign modifier, I suppose, because they kind of work together to mean it's going to be a little bit easier to kind of take over on a new character after your father or mother dies. Sons of Our Fathers, Dynasty Opinion +5. Again, like, it's almost pointless, but it is there. I mean, +5, I guess, is better than nothing. This also unlocks access to the Espouse Legitimacy Intent, allowing you to build legitimacy during some activities such as funerals, feasts, and grand weddings. This allowing you to change, you know, where you can do like recreation, murder, seduce, and an event. You now have this Espouse Legitimacy, and you can build legitimacy quicker through this. This one's actually really good. I actually really like Sons of Our Fathers. If you take over a character and you have enough money to do a quick feast or something, you're going to get that prestige, all the usual bonuses you get from feasts. You even get some legitimacy, I think, now from doing feasts as well. And then you can also do this legitimacy intent, and that's going to build up your legitimacy even faster. It's just going to make taking over that a little bit easier. Maybe get that better alliance early on as well. The fourth one is Divine Mandate. Vassals are less likely to join Disillusion factions and Claimant factions. This one is, I'm not going to lie, it's just super boring. I quite like these, I guess. There's one down here, I think it's in Glory, is it? That's kind of the same. Yeah, vassals are less likely to join Claimant factions and Liberty factions. But on this one, as you can see, you get +10 Vassal, -20% short reign, +5 Court Grandeur. Whereas this one is just that bonus, so it's pretty bad. I almost think this should be maybe the first one. I guess it'd be a little bit too powerful, but maybe these two should switch, or just some other bonus added to this. Because as you can see, the one in the same tier further down under Glory gives 3 other bonuses and a very similar one. Now, Disillusion faction is different. That is good, especially if you have an Empire, but it's only less likely. It's not that they won't. It's just a lot harder for them to do so. So, I don't know. I think this one's pretty terrible. It's probably the worst one out of all of them. I don't really want to speak ill of some of these, but like this one is pretty horrendous. And then the last one here, I'm English, this is French, I'm going to butcher it horrendously. Du et mon doigt? Terrible. Let me know how bad that was in the comments down below. Select a 5th level education trait to make more common within your dynasty. So, like, this one sounds pretty good. I guess it means the 5th level ones can spawn without having to go to university, which if you don't know how it works, currently in the game you have to go to university to get the 5th level traits, I believe. But by the wording of this, I guess you can just randomly get these when you come of age now. If you select this, and it's only a certain one, so select a 5th level, so one of the 5 lifestyles, you have to choose one of them, and it makes it more common within your dynasty. Now, from that wording and it being the 5th unlock, I presume that means you've got a chance of this spawning, like, naturally when your character comes of age. You have a chance to earn the 5th one, instead of having to go to university, as I said. I imagine that's what it must mean, because otherwise it's not very good. So it must be that way. It must mean you can just randomly get this without actually having to pay to go to university. Now, is this good? Yeah, it is pretty good. It's pretty decent. It saves you all that university money, although it is still kind of random. The thing that's weird about it is, what's it got to do with legitimacy? I suppose you could look at it as they're so legitimate, they're like just seen as being cleverer than they are or something. I'm not too sure how it works, how it fits with legitimacy. And the weird thing is that you would think it would go under erudition or something like that, something that's a little bit more focused on like being smart, having capable advisors. I know you're not a capable advisor, it's your character or it's somebody from your dynasty, but I think it kind of fits into something like this that's more learning focused than something that is about legitimacy. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I just don't think it fits very well in legitimacy, and I almost think these two are better than most of the things in legitimacy, because these give you, what was it, Venerated Ancestor plus 25 legitimacy gain. The other one also gives you plus 25%. You don't have any legitimacy gain modifiers from here, not directly anyway. You do have the legitimacy bonus for the first 10 years, but you don't have this just flat bonus for however long you're alive. And that's a little bit weird. It's kind of odd the Legitimacy Legacy has less legitimacy bonuses than the Heroic Bloodline one, which also has Amazing Legend bonus as well. Anyway, that is the two new ones. Like I said, I just wanted to cover them quickly because they weren't covered in the dev diary, and you might be interested as to what they are. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you going to pick any of these? I'm probably going to pick Heroic Bloodline in a few of the campaigns that I'm going to be starting, because it's super interesting getting into the legacy system, how that works, the events are cool, and just kind of seeing the kind of like growth of them on the map. But legitimacy, probably less likely to ever choose this one if I'm being honest. I might do here and there. If it fits my character when I start my first dynasty, I might do it, but outside of that, I think it's probably one of the worst ones that have been added. And that's unfortunate. I think there could have been some mechanics around it that changed up legitimacy, maybe made it do some different things that we weren't expecting. Maybe you could just get claims on random other titles or something like that. Maybe this one would move down to Divine Mandate, and then the top one would be just something a little bit different, something interesting where like at max legitimacy, maybe even like the Pope or someone would come to you and say, wow, you're such an amazing king. Why don't you take over France if you're the king of Germany or something? And you get a claim on a random kingdom around you if you hit certain requirements or something. I know that's a little bit gamified, but I think it would be more interesting that your vassals are less likely to join factions sometimes. But anyway, folks, we'll leave it there for today. As always, hit like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here. I cover Crusader Kings. I do dev diary coverage, news, discussion videos like this, and I also cover other historical titles as well. But we'll leave it there for today, and I'll see you in the next one.